So autoimmune disease, we're told that your immune system's gone rogue and it's attacking itself. It's attacking your own body. But that's not totally true, because what happens in autoimmune disease, and there's some very well-respected published scientists that have led the research community to this understanding, and most of the experts and doctors and scientists I've talked to over the years agree with this theory. I think it's probably beyond theory at this point, but that autoimmune disease is actually caused by little tears that happen inside of our intestinal lining that allow proteins from foods and other things to slip through into our bloodstream that should not be there, right? Because our intestines are meant to keep things out of, they're a protective wall meant to keep certain things out of our bloodstream. But when we're drinking alcohol, or smoking cigarettes, we have an inflammatory diet, we have processed food, we have glyphosate, we have toxins, we have heavy metals, these kinds of things. They're constantly making little micro tears inside of the intestines. Well, intestinal cells, I think God was very smart when he designed us, or when the universe created us, because intestinal cells replace themselves, regenerate every 24 hours. So it knew that we're going to have some constant damage. And so our body's kind of prepared for that. Again, super smart, super intelligent. The problem is the level at which we are destroying those cells is faster than they can repair themselves at this point. And because of the bombardment of toxins and then the stress on the nervous system and all these things that are happening. And so what this research shows is that the proteins, let's say for example, we'll say corn or wheat, gluten protein. You have those micro tears. It slips through into the bloodstream. Well, that ends up that protein is now in your bloodstream, and it looks almost identical to, it may be the cells of your thyroid, for example, or the cells inside your joints. And then what happens? Oh, your immune system goes and does what it's supposed to do. It's trying to remove, attack, and eliminate that protein that's not supposed to be in your body. But at the same time, if a particular protein looks like almost identical to a cell that's like a thyroid cell or tissue cell in your joints, well, then what's going to happen? You're going to end up with rheumatoid arthritis. You're going to end up with Hashimoto's or some kind of autoimmune disease, because your immune system's attacking these cells that it thinks are this invading protein. So your immune system's not out of whack. It's not attacking your own body against its own will. It's actually intelligently doing what it's supposed to do. The problem is we didn't take care of our body, and we allowed these proteins to slip into the bloodstream. And you go, okay, well, then I'm just screwed, right? Like my body's going to do this forever. No, this is why people are healing autoimmune disease. Because when you learn this information, then you know, okay, if I remove these culprits out of my body and out of my life and my diet for a certain amount of time, then my body has nothing to attack anymore. The fight or flight goes down. The immune system is not on a heightened response anymore. And oftentimes this takes prolonged fasting, or it can take really specific detoxes with removing certain things from your diet. It can take getting your nervous system into a state of rest and digest and healing and rejuvenation, which is what I call parasympathetic mastery, which is things like breath work and meditation and Qigong and different practices that get us into that healing state. And with autoimmune disease, it's very often you need to do a combination of all these different things so that then your body's not constantly bombarded on this fight or flight, trying to attack these cells that are constantly coming into your bloodstream. Imagine you don't know that you're eating corn, or you're eating soy, or you're eating a hot dog or something, whatever it is, and that is actually what's causing your autoimmune disease. And you have no idea. And you keep eating that every single day. And you keep damaging your intestinal wall every single day with the heavy metals that are in the unfiltered water that you drink, or that are in the cigarettes that you smoke, or in the processed or fast food that you're eating, these toxins that are destroying your intestinal lining and allowing these proteins to slip through. And this is why people, Jonathan Otto, a good friend of mine, and through his series, have shown many people reversing all kinds of autoimmune diseases when they do these complete holistic approaches because they realize, wow, we've got to get these culprits out. We've got to clean up the diet. We've got to heal the intestines. And then when you do, and you repair that intestinal lining, and then you get your nervous system into a state of healing and regeneration, then the odds of your body being able to finally breathe, so that's what it's doing. It's able to like, I can finally take a breath. Okay, I don't have that in my system anymore. And that can take months, but so what, right? Like if you could be free of your autoimmune disease and it took you 3 months, 6 months, a year, like anybody would say yes to that when you've gone through the suffering and pain of that. But oftentimes it means you got to make hard changes and cut things out of your diet and do levels of fasting and supplementation, all these different things. It's possible to gain your whole life back. And that's the beautiful thing. But with that said, there's also a gift. There's a gift when we are sick. Am I right? There's a gift when we're diagnosed with the disease. There's a gift when we go through a challenging time. You know, when I was really sick, headed for a cancer diagnosis, headed for autoimmune disease, very toxic, it was a gift that eventually woke me up to realize, wow, I do not want to live that way anymore. I know what it's like to be angry, to have serious addictions, to be very sick and unhealthy and weak. I don't want to live that way. What's the alternative? Let me go find out what the alternative is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it means to be happy. I don't know what it means to even be peaceful or content. I don't know what it means to be healthy and vital, but let me go find out. And that's what sent me on this 20-year journey since 2005 of doing exactly that, discovering what does it mean to live my happiest life and healthiest life and most vital life, and overcome these health challenges and mental emotional challenges and so many things that I went through. And I can tell you, it is accessible to everybody. Everybody, so many people are healing from these incurable diseases. The stories are incredible and they're out there. Yes, they get censored. Yes, there are powers that be that don't want this information out there and whatever. We don't even need to get into that. But you can find them, and they're in the thousands, tens of thousands, probably so many more. And so it's totally possible. You just need to, have the hope and the dedication and the willingness and the open mind and open heart and then, the right information and the right guidance to help you along the way.